Hello, welcome back to another Kosher Critic. Like I said, I'm not doing these too often anymore, so it's rare when you see my face trying some food. But this is something I've been meaning to try and wanted to do a Kosher Critic on for a while. I just never got around to it when I was doing them regularly. And the last, I saw a pretty cheap option. Usually they're like so fucking expensive, but this one was like $6. I'm gonna eat a few bites and throw it out. I don't see myself keeping this at all. But these are freeze-dried candy. This is specifically is Brain Freeze brand, and this is the Rainbow Crunch flavor, which, based on appearances, seems like it's Skittles, essentially. So I've seen videos of like freeze-dried candy, and I'm so confused by it. Like, I just can't imagine that crunchy, like crispy, like wafery texture with candy flavor. I've heard it like concentrates the flavor too, so I figured, hey, I really want to try it. So this is the grape one, which is like my favorite Skittles flavor, I would say. It looks like what happened is like the filling sort of cracked out of the shell and like crystallized, but here we go. One more go. You know what? There's a huge ass cluster here. Let's finish off with the cluster. Okay. Here's the issue with this specific pick, this specific candy. I think there's an issue on my end. That's something I did wrong. I got freeze-dried, essentially, Skittles. It doesn't say Skittles anywhere on the package, but it's Skittles. Alright? The texture of freeze-dried candy isn't different enough from Skittles for this to be like a weird achievement. It just tastes like Skittles that are slightly crunchier in texture. Skittles are already kind of crunchy. Now, if I got something like a Sour Patch Kid or some sort of gummy that was freeze-dried, it would be a very weird, different experience. But this is pretty much just eating Skittles that are ever so slightly crunchier, just because of the nature of Skittles themselves. So this was kind of a waste of my try of the freeze-dried candy concept. So I may have to come back and try a different freeze-dried candy one day. But for now, yeah, just get a fucking pack of Skittles. You don't need this many Skittles, and they're just not as good when they're crunchier. So, like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend this at all. But, yeah, I think that's just error on my end. I don't think that's anything of the product. But I'm very curious to see how freeze-dried candy would go for a candy that is so much different in texture and is not inherently crunchy in texture like for example, a Sour Patch Kid, you know? Yeah, so I'd like to see that. But for now, this is getting thrown out. I'm not going to eat it, so bye-bye.